Hey mamas, I'm Brooke Miller, registered dietitian, certified lactation counselor, and a mama who has helped hundreds of moms feel like themselves again after baby, boost their energy, mood, metabolism, and even milk supply. Inside of the Postpartum Shift podcast, you'll learn how to take care of your health so that you can show up best for the ones you care about most. Each week, we'll tackle topics like nutrition, exercise, breastfeeding, mental health, and so much more. Plus, you'll get access to guest experts who will share ways to make your pregnancy and postpartum experience easier. Whether you're approaching the postpartum period or you're right in the thick of it, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's topic. Hey mama, welcome back to the Postpartum Shift podcast, and we are going to be talking all about the importance of breakfast and common mistakes that moms make with their breakfast that end up leaving them feeling exhausted, having mood swings, being irritable, having a lack of focus, and actually slowing down their metabolism. So we're going to be talking about what not to do at breakfast and then some things that you definitely need to be focused on if you are not already. So let's first start with some of the most common mistakes that I see moms making when it comes to breakfast. So first mistake is just skipping breakfast altogether. So a lot of moms will, either be intermittent fasting, or most of the time they're just like, I'm just too tired or too exhausted to make anything. Sometimes they're, so busy feeding their kid or their new baby or their toddler. They're trying to get everybody out the door, and they're so fixated on making sure that everybody else is fed and they are not making sure that they are well fed. So this is a common mistake. And I am not saying that you need to have like this massive breakfast before you, drop your toddler off at school. However, we definitely want to be eating within ideally an hour of waking to really help support our metabolism. What can happen is if we are constantly letting our body go way too long without eating, this can actually slow down our metabolism. And our body just went for, usually 8 to 12 hours without eating. You did fast during that time because you were sleeping, and, usually we are not eating like 5 minutes before we're going to bed. And so your body is naturally fasting, and it's okay to, wait a half hour or even 45 minutes to an hour from the time that you get up. It's okay to just have some water first thing and then, start your morning. And then it is important to eat something and not skip breakfast entirely. Especially a lot of moms I talk to will go all the way until lunch without eating. And then they're irritable, they're, losing focus and sometimes moody, and they're not sure why. And this is a big reason. So mistake number 2 that I see a lot of moms make is just having coffee for breakfast. And we don't want to have coffee on an empty stomach for a few reasons. One, it can really irritate our digestive system. So you might find that you are having diarrhea or bloating, or you're having to go to the bathroom more frequently. That can happen. But also our cortisol levels are highest in the morning. And when we just have caffeine on an empty stomach, that is just making our cortisol levels even higher. So it's okay to have coffee with breakfast. It's okay to have coffee as part of your breakfast. I actually tend to do my coffee after breakfast. That's what I notice makes me feel the best. So I have water first thing in the morning, and then I'm getting my kids ready. I'm making breakfast for them. I'm making breakfast for me. And then I usually have my coffee once I am done dropping the boys off at school. And I find that I digest and just feel so much better when I have coffee after breakfast. But of course, you can have coffee with breakfast, especially if your breakfast is balanced, then you're going to feel totally fine. So another mistake that I see moms making with breakfast is, if they are going for just coffee, maybe on their way to work or whatever it may be, they might go through the Starbucks drive-through and they get really high sugary drink. So if you don't have any food in your system, no protein, no fiber, no healthy fats, and then you just have a sugary drink, it is going to spike your blood sugar, and then your blood sugar is going to crash. So that's where we're going to experience cravings later in the day, energy crashes, mood swings, feeling just like all of a sudden exhausted. This can happen when we just have something sugary first thing in the morning. And so especially, with our morning coffee, we don't want to order something that's going to be really high in added sugar. So it's okay if you want to add a little sweetener to your coffee and some cream, that's totally fine. But what we don't want is to start our morning, especially in the morning, with, 30, 40, 50 grams of added sugar to our coffee. We're just not going to physically feel good. And then another mistake that I see moms making is just doing a really high carb, low protein breakfast. So carbs are important. Carbs are great. I love fruits and vegetables, and it's okay to have whole grain, toast with part of your breakfast. Like that is totally fine. However, when we are just, having, let's say, just a piece of plain toast or just a banana, or just a bagel with nothing on it, but maybe a little jelly, what is going to happen is our blood sugar is going to spike and then it's going to crash. And if we don't especially have enough protein, healthy fat, and fiber on our plate at breakfast, these symptoms are going to get worse. And especially if our blood sugar is spiking and crashing from either a really sugary drink or, really high sugar breakfast. Like if you just start your morning with, let's say, pancakes with syrup and that's it, or a waffle with syrup and that's it, and that's just high sugar, and then you have orange juice with it, then you're just packing, your blood sugar levels are going to rise really dramatically. And then our pancreas is going into overdrive. And so this can lead to added weight gain over time, a slow metabolism, a loss of muscle mass if we're not eating enough protein. And so these are the most common mistakes that I'm seeing postpartum and breastfeeding moms make with breakfast. And so I don't want you to make these mistakes. So if you are doing any of these things right now, first and foremost, you don't have to feel guilty about it, but just have awareness with, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. And maybe this isn't the best solution. So I am willing to test something new and see how I feel. So that's the approach that I would take. If you've been wanting to reach your healthiest weight and feel like yourself again postpartum without having to sacrifice your favorite foods or your milk supply, I've got a free workshop just for you. Inside of this free workshop, you'll discover how to boost energy, mood, metabolism, and even protect your milk supply. You'll learn common mistakes that moms make that actually cause exhaustion, mood swings, low milk supply, and weight loss resistance to become worse, things that moms don't even realize. And you'll learn the proven 3-step method to heal your hormones and metabolism after baby so you can go from surviving to thriving postpartum. Plus, as a free gift, you'll get my postpartum snack guide when you come hang out with us. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes to save your seat today. Spots are limited. See you there. Now, what we want to do is actually start our morning with a good balanced breakfast. And actually, for me, I feel best when my breakfast is the biggest meal of the day or one of the biggest meals of the day. So I do a really big hearty breakfast and then it holds me over until lunch. And I don't have like a really late lunch in the day. So my lunch is typically about 4 hours after, and I can get by feeling really full and satisfied all morning long because my breakfast is so big. So if you just have like a smoothie, maybe first thing in the morning, you can make a balanced smoothie. So there are some really good breakfast smoothies that have protein, fiber and fat. But I notice like with myself, if I just have a smoothie, then that will only hold me over for about 2 hours. And then I'm like needing a mid-morning snack, which is totally fine. If that's what works for you, you can do that and you can totally make that work. But for me, I know my mornings are chaotic and I know I like to get some work done in the mornings. And I know for me, I would actually rather just have a really big balanced breakfast and then, have it hold me over until an early lunch. And so that may work really well for you. And you can batch things so you don't have to, like one thing I love doing is making an egg bake. And so I have this amazing egg bake recipe and we will make it on weekends. And then that way, Monday through Friday during the week, I just have to cut a piece and reheat it and that's it. And then I usually just pair it with some berries. So that is like one of my favorite breakfast options. Otherwise in the morning, I just make scrambled eggs, as part of my breakfast, and it's pretty quick and easy. My 2-year-old loves scrambled eggs as well. And then, we kind of mix what we have with the scrambled eggs. Sometimes it's an omelet. Sometimes it's a veggie omelet. Sometimes, there's meat with it. Sometimes there's berries with it. Sometimes there's avocado toast with it. So I really like to mix up my breakfast with eggs. But typically for me, I notice I feel the best if I have some sort of egg in my breakfast, but what that looks like specifically does vary. So having a high protein breakfast is going to make you feel the best. It is going to boost your mood, your energy, your metabolism, your focus. Is going to help your body composition with muscle mass. It can help you stay at a healthy weight. So just focusing on breakfast alone is one of the biggest, most important things that we can do. And whenever I have moms join the program and they feel overwhelmed with, trying to overhaul breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I always tell them, start with breakfast first. Then once you get breakfast down, you're going to feel so much better throughout the day. And then that's actually going to make lunch and dinner easier. And once you get breakfast down, then you've built one habit and then you can focus on lunch and dinner. So all 3 meals are, of course, really important. But once you can get breakfast down, it just gets the ball rolling to feel better. And even having a balanced breakfast can even reduce cravings later in the day. So it's really wild how much our breakfast impacts our energy, our mood, our metabolism. It can even help support our milk supply. So something that I put together recently is a breakfast guide, and this is to help moms navigate breakfast and to give moms a lot of healthy and balanced options so that you can just open this guide. You can look at what type of recipes, do you prefer more egg-based recipes? Do you prefer more smoothies? Do you prefer more of the fun stuff? Do you love things like overnight oats? There is a wide variety of recipes in here, along with my favorite types of like collagen and protein powder that you can add to some of these things. If you have a dairy allergy or your baby has a dairy allergy or you're lactose intolerant, there's also options in there for you as well and different swaps. But this guide, I felt like just needed to be out there for moms because so many moms need a place to start. And like I said, this at least solves one problem and it makes a big difference. So definitely click the link in the show notes and you can snag this breakfast guide. It is super, super affordable. I wanted to put something out there for moms just who were on the fence of like, I need something to start with and I need to make a change. And you feel like this is the thing that is going to help you get the ball rolling with your health, because I promise you, once you get breakfast down, it is so much easier to have better focus. It is so much easier to add in healthy habits, to work out, to do all the things that you need to get done during the day when you are fueled first thing in the morning. Like this is the first domino that when it falls, a lot of other things fall into place. And so I'm so excited to put this together for busy moms because I know that it's going to be so beneficial. So some of the recipes in here are ones that you could just make on a weekend and batch create. Something like my favorite egg bake recipes in there. There's a lot of recipes that you can make in 10 minutes or less. So there's such a wide variety in this guide for you. I cannot wait for you moms to open this and get it. So you can go ahead and click the link in the show notes to grab this guide. And this guide will never be this price ever again. So you want to grab it now. It is less than $10. It is less than $10 for breakfast for life, my friends. There are so many recipes in here. You can work through these recipes all year long and, pick a new one every week, whatever you want to do with it. But yes, this is the lowest price it will ever be. I can't wait for you to snag this. You can go ahead and click the link in the show notes to grab it. And I will see you in the next episode. And I can't wait to hear what your favorite recipe is out of this guide. Send me a DM on Instagram or send me a picture on Instagram of what you're making and what you're loving. And I will see you in the next episode. Exercise is crucial for our overall mental and physical health, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Something that has helped me stay really consistent with strength training and yoga at home during nap time is the Expecting and Empowered workout app. I love that I can choose how many weeks pregnant or postpartum I am, and the app tells me exactly what to do. Plus, there's cardio, yoga, and strength training options for new moms and moms to be. You can go ahead and click the link in the show notes to get 7 days free and also save 15% off the annual option when you use promo code Nutrition4Mamas. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to the Postpartum Shift podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could share this episode with a mom friend and leave a written review. This helps the podcast reach and help even more moms. Come say hi over on Instagram at Nutrition4Mamas.